Hey, Judy.
Hey Lisa, how's it going today?
It's going good, thanks.
Good, good. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving last week?
In our family, you and Michelle share alternating Easter festivities.
Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law, Llewellyn, does Christmas Eve. Mom
Mm-hmm.
does Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I and Craig, or Craig and I, do Thanksgiving. And
Right.
this year we had upwards of 20 people.
Uh-huh.
And it was lovely. So we actually wrote about Thanksgiving and our thoughts about Thanksgiving this week on our Sidetracked Sisters blog. And
Right. I thought they came out really well.
they
Yeah.
really did. And the thing that was interesting is that I wrote about Dad's benediction and
Uh-huh.
how I was thankful that he has always had an important part to play in our Thanksgiving tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And now his he's been having some problems with his memory.
Mm-hmm.
And so how to keep facilitating his engagement with his role,
Mm-hmm.
um, I decided that I would print that off for him. And so it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of interesting because he was very pleased that he was expected to participate in that same way this year.
Right.
And he got on the landing and I said, Here, I have printed this off for you. He goes, I don't need that. He goes, I've said the same prayer every year for forever. I don't need to read anything. And I was like, well, it's just available if you should need it. Because a couple of years ago, when his memory started to fade a little bit, we thought maybe it had too much to drink because he had stumbled a little bit on the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it flawlessly this year,
Uh-huh.
flawlessly. And what was funny though is as we were walking down the stairs after he said that, I said, Yeah, you did a great job. That was perfect. I said, Now, do you remember us sitting down on Thursday and going over it to make sure that I had this copy for you? You did what? No. So the fact that we had kind of worked through it and he and I had worked through the process of remembering the blessing together so that I could type it out and have it for my writing and have it as a copy for him was
Right.
totally to him. And it was like
That's awesome. Oh, okay. So have
crazy.
you been doing that for 20 years now?
I don't know. I think so. I
I
mean,
think so too. Yeah.
yeah.
I,
I
you
mean,
know, I love getting up in your pulpit. It looks like a pulpit to me. And I know I did the prayer 1 or 2 years and
uh-huh.
but we had to give Art a demand performance because he was so good at it.
And he
Yeah.
really enjoys that part of it.
Yeah.
And he has a special blessing that he always says. And I did do a Google search of it this year
Couldn't find it,
and
huh?
couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't. He doesn't know where it came from, and I don't know where it came from. So it's something that we definitely needed. It's a part of his legacy, and
Maybe he wrote it.
it's a little fancy.
Yeah. It
We thought maybe it came from the fact that he is a Mason in and that it came from one of his lodge, activities, but
sure.
that's possible.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was there and witnessed it myself and it was
Yeah.
lovely.
Now, one of my friends said, "Did you take a video on your? Did somebody take a video of him saying that this year?" I was like, "No, we all had our heads bowed, like we were told
Yeah, you
to."
don't take video when you're bowing your heads. What's the matter with you?
And
I think this video thing can be overdone because then you got to distribute it to everybody and what do you do with it later? I mean, we witnessed it. We were there and it
mhm,
was perfect and we have a picture. No, we
we
don't
have
have
a
a
picture.
picture. We have a
Yep,
picture.
we
That's
do.
all we need. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So Lisa, speaking of Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
what are we talking about today?
We are talking about thankfulness and gratefulness. And did you know that they're different things?
Well, yes, I actually have had a few hints that they were different things because some of the things I've been reading and studying about prayer have said that in our prayers, so many of us are thankful for something that happens that we credit that supreme being with. However, the suggestion I've received has always been, however, we need to show our gratitude. And I always thought, well, we said thank you. What's gratitude? So today you and I both did a little search to see what we could figure out. And what did you find?
Well, I just wanted to say, first of all, that is one of the just really fun things of doing this podcast or any creative endeavor is it's like you dig into things that wouldn't necessarily think about or research into things that you just kind of take for granted. Why would we dig into the difference between thankfulness or gratefulness unless we were doing a podcast on that? And so when we kind of came up with that topic today, it was like, I don't know what the difference between the two is. And
Well, we actually thought they were kind of synonyms, didn't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're not. And so really now, why don't you talk about, first of all, what you found, because yours was slightly different than what I found.
Okay, sure. First of all, what mine said it meant to be grateful, or excuse me, thankful, was conscious of some benefit you received. Like you do something for me and I say, thank you. That's kind of in the present, one thing, whatever. The person getting the benefits is aware that it's a nice gesture, and so they respond. And it's often just automatic. They just say thank you. Mm-hmm. So now gratitude, it's an ongoing showing of appreciation in your relationship. It's something that showing gratitude, having gratitude for someone in your life, someone who's repeatedly being a part of what's going on in your life. And I even found a little 3-stanza writing that said, gratitude turns what little you have into abundance. And gratitude is so much more than saying thank you. And gratitude changes your perspective of your world. So from that, it felt to me more like gratitude is almost a mindset. It's like an ongoing expression. It's just, I'm not finding the right word. Just an ongoing showing of appreciation. It's not just for one event or one little thing, or you picked up my groceries when you went to the store. Thank you. It's just one time.
Well, maybe use the example of yesterday when you took the stuff to Mom's house. I think that's an example of the difference between thankfulness and gratefulness. Why don't you share that story?
Oh, about the Jello and the green beans?
Yeah.
Well, as always, we have some leftovers, but my Jello was kind of
always.
Yeah, my Jello was kind of a, well, to use the right word, kind of a flop. So I figured out that I had used too much.
That was a very descriptive word. It was more of a, it wasn't a flop, it was a bit of a puddle.
It was
a very tasty puddle. If you close your eyes and dug in, it was a lovely, tasty, perfect
puddle.
Appropriate puddle, but it was a bit of the visual aspect of it wasn't up to par. The taste of it was right on target.
Well, so I'll thank Google. I did a Google search. I took my puddle home, what was left of it. So a lot of it was gone. And I added another box of green Jello and very little water, and added that Jello to my puddle and mixed it all up and put it in the refrigerator and thought, well, I'll see what happens. Well, lo and behold, I had Jello, and it was looking.
Okay, so we should probably back up just a titch. The dish that we're talking about, you put a traditional either lemon or lime Jello with vegetables, cabbage, carrots. What else?
A little pineapple, canned pineapple. You can't use fresh. And I had some pecans that I put in.
Okay, so you put that in a round, is it a bundt pan?
No, it's a Jello mold.
A Jello
mold. It's a Tupperware Jello mold.
Okay, and it has a hole in the center. Then you turn that upside down and you put a Pyrex dish in the center of it with mayonnaise.
Right.
And so then when you serve it, you cut yourself a slice of this vegetable Jello, and then you put a little dollop of mayonnaise on top of it. Correct.
And the adults in our world think it's amazing. The children, or I shouldn't say children even, the young adults go, oh, it's just weird. It's just wrong. It's so many levels. You have vegetables in your Jello. Why would you do that? I don't even know that it's the vegetables that does it. It's the mayonnaise on the top.
of the Jello
Probably.
with the vegetables that just kind of
Probably.
sets
And
them
this
over the
this
edge.
day, this year I really mixed it up. I did 1 box of lime and 1 box of lemon, and I mixed them together. So that was kind of fun. Anyway, so the Jello, I actually divided it into 2 bowls, 1 little bowl for me and then a bigger bowl because that's another long story. Sandy was going to have company and they became ill and couldn't come. So I took her a bowl of Jello, and I also took her leftover. I had the old classic green bean casserole, and it actually I hadn't had it in a while. It was pretty good.
Mhm.
So I called her and said I'm going to bring these things over. So I did, and she was just really, really appreciative. And then I found out she didn't have company, so I got invited to dinner. Who knew? It was great, but she seemed genuinely grateful for
Yeah.
that,
So
'cause
I guess what that really exemplifies, you said appreciative. So appreciative is almost cuts the line between thankfulness and gratitude, doesn't it?
yeah, it's kind of in the
So
middle, isn't it?
yeah, so she was appreciative in that she said words of thankfulness, but
Mhm,
then she carried on to the next level of gratitude by
mhm.
then not only just expressing that thankfulness, but then being so appreciative that she invited you then to stay and have dinner with them.
And it
And
was lovely. It was so cool. It was really fun. Yeah.
so what I found was that thankfulness is really a feeling of being pleased or relieved. Okay, according to the Googles, it's more of the feeling that you have that you may use words to express. And
Mhm,
sometimes it stops there. But gratitude takes it to the next level. Gratitude is that actual showing of the appreciation for something that's done or something that you've received. So
mhm,
the thankfulness can be words, but the gratitude takes it up to the next level.
mhm.
Where the thankfulness, I have some great quotes, but one says that thankfulness is the highest form of thought, but gratefulness is happiness doubled with wonder. And
Oh, I
I
like
really
that.
like that. I really like that. And
I
so,
do too.
I think what we really should do, yes, we should definitely want to be more thankful in our lives and to express that thankfulness because I don't think we do a really good job of that. We just take so much for granted and
Mhm.
we don't let people know of our appreciation. And we've written about that a little bit. I mean, there was one summer, I think it was during COVID, that Michelle and I kind of had a personal challenge to just write some notes of thanks. We did a few of them, and the ones that I believe that we wrote about were when we went on
Those
our walk,
postcards, yeah.
those postcards that we put in people's mailboxes anonymously. And
Mhm.
just that there was one that I love, and I think of it all the time because I drive past this house. I love the color of their door. It's like this limey yellow color, kind of more yellow than chartreuse, but and it's against a gray house, and I just think it looks so unique and fresh and different. And I told them that. Another one that we wrote was there was a family on the corner
I
of
remember this, yeah.
Burnett and Mary Street, and they put little bows with little dog treats on their bushes on the corner that you can take home
Uh-huh.
and give to your dog when you're walking.
We get a lot of dog walkers in that neighborhood.
It's just so sweet and thoughtful. And so to be thoughtful for their thoughtfulness um, is rare, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that really felt good to do. Those were just the two examples that I had written about that I remembered.
Now, do you call those thankfulness or do you call those gratitude?
I think they're thankful when you write the letter. Their gratitude if then you then change something about yourself. Well,
It's yeah, see, that's where I get
yeah,
confused.
no,
It's
I guess
kind of
I would
hard.
have been. See, I felt thankful that that lady put the treats on her bush, but I went the next step and wrote the note. So I think that elevated it to
You're
gratitude.
grateful.
Yes,
You were
to
grateful
gratitude.
for her doing that effort, that
Yes,
extra
I showed
effort.
that appreciation by writing the note. Now,
Mhm.
maybe there's even a new level of, incorporating that into my life. Am I doing something in my life to encourage the dog walkers? And
Sure.
I don't have a bush out on the road, but am I doing something to, to pay that forward? kind of thing.
So, Lisa, how would we incorporate thankfulness and gratitude into our writing? How do you think that would work?
You know, I think the first step is awareness, is realizing that we can use our writing to really explore what things we are grateful for and how we what things we're thankful for and how to be more grateful in our lives. And I think
Mhm.
lots of people do that with just something as simple as a gratitude journal. You know,
Right.
they just by sitting down and by having a daily practice of being aware and jotting that down
Yeah,
is the
write
first.
down three things today that you were grateful for. I
Mhm.
think those are fabulous because they'll change a mindset faster than anything else I know. Oh,
Mhm.
I had a horrible day. Well, what good things happened to you today?
Mhm.
What were you grateful that happened? And well, Sally was really nice. She helped me with this project. You can always, I'd say always, and I don't use always or never very frequently, but you can always find something in your day to be grateful for.
I think you can. I think you
Mhm,
can. And
mhm.
I think that is rare. I don't think, I mean, in my day job that I currently have, so many people focus on the, oh, this happened. If only this was different, if, this happened again, or this person said that again, or, you know, I can't believe this happened. It's like, hey, job security. This is why I'm here. This is the value that I'm providing to this company for the time that I offer them to serve this need. And
Mhm.
it's part of the gig. So whining, pissing, moaning about it, yeah, not really bringing any value to you, me, them, or the situation. But
Well, and if you believe in the power of the spoken word and of the attitude you carry, you believe that that which you talk about and bitch about and complain about attracts more of the same. So if you start bitching and complaining, chances are good your coworkers are going to start bitching and complaining, and pretty soon everybody's bitching and complaining, and everybody's pretty unhappy. So,
mhm,
what's the point? Let it go.
yep.
People, you can't change people, but you can influence people, and I think
Well,
that
and I think where I am right now, I've been in this particular position now for about 8 months. And from when I started there to where I am now, day and night difference.
really,
Day and night difference um, of the other people's perspectives and my perspective of how. Now I don't want to take full credit for that, but I think it has to do with the fact that I don't listen to the this person did that and why did they do this. It's like, hey, it's job security. If they didn't do it, gives me something to do today. Like,
exactly. And it's
yeah,
pretty hard to whine to somebody that doesn't accept whining, you
no,
know. Um,
no.
it,
Mm-mm.
and they very quickly people know, oh, I'm not gonna do that with Lisa because that's not her gig. She
Not my
doesn't
gig.
participate in that, and so
Mm-mm.
it's just a wasted breath. I think that's really valuable to a company to have some people reminding the others that, hey, that's not what we're here for. At
Mm-mm.
every job. I mean, I'm old and I've had a lot of jobs, and every job I've ever had, there's something you could complain about, but
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
know if it's the old Pareto principle, the 80-20, or if it's more like 70-30 or just what, but you can always find something to complain about. So,
Well, here's a question for you, Judy. This is a little off topic, but we are the Sidetrack Sisters, so I'm going to give myself some grace here. I made an application yesterday for a management position, and one of the questions that I was asked in the survey that I had to take was, "Are there people that you don't like?" That
okay.
was a really interesting question. And then
Hmm.
you had to, it was either there are people I don't like, I like, there are no people I don't like. Okay. And then you had to either do, always, sometimes, always. So it was a four
Hmm.
point scale. And I thought to myself, hmm, where do I find that was a hard question for me because I thought I am in control of me. I'm never in control of someone else. I can make the decision about how I respond to everybody in my circle.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that I want to be a better or deeper or more intimate friend with that person. But are
Right.
there people I don't like? Hmm. I put
That's a pretty broad thing. What did you put?
I put that there are no people that I don't like, but I put it in the somewhat category, not the hard and fast. I love the world,
Mm-hmm.
joy, joy,
Mm-hmm.
happy, happy unicorns and sparkles. I thought, there are some people that I have to think about and make a decision to work peacefully and happily with that person. And that's honest.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time with that question, but I think for me, I'm so affected by my environment
Mm,
that what I would have to say is I look for the good in everyone, and
mhm.
everyone has it, no matter how obnoxious they are. And at the same time, I know, what do I really think, right? At the same time, there are people that I choose to spend more time around
Yeah.
than others. And because when I'm with them, I feel good. I feel better. My, my, my vibrations are more in
In tune.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
we usually were pretty synergistic, and we can plan a thing and have it come out even better than
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of us alone could have. And then there are people that I know, but I wouldn't say I don't like them. I
Right.
mean, I like them fine. I don't necessarily choose to spend much time with them. So that's a real value judgment. I wonder what management's looking for with that question.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could get more into that, but I guess where that fits in with our topic here is
Good
when,
job.
when good segue. Um, when we are talking about being grateful, there are so many, I think you can find something to be grateful for in, dare I say, all situations.
I agree. I totally
And
agree.
I think part of the way you can do that is through writing.
Mhm.
And just by sitting, you can't, just by repeating, I love this person is wonderful,
No,
Mary makes me, you can't lie to yourself. But I
no,
think
your
through,
subconscious doesn't allow that.
no, but I think through writing we can explore how that person and our relationship and our interactions with that person, there is some benefit and some good in it for all involved.
There's some saving grace. Definitely some saving grace. And I
Some
think
kind
that
of,
is
yeah,
so, so important. And when you look at that person, to even visualize that good thing that you feel about them. And you don't necessarily have to say it, but just in your feeling it, just in your thinking it, it will come through to that person that there is a little bit of a spark there between you. And I think when you write it, like I go back to our Thanksgiving writings this week, I felt that we've done okay, they were deeper than they've been at other
yeah.
times. I felt that everyone's writing was extremely thoughtful, emotional, coming from the heart, and
Well,
I thought,
one of the things that I was thinking about as I was walking today was, you and I and the other Sidetrack sisters have been getting together for several years now
mhm,
and writing about all of these topics that we put out for other people to join us. And if you look at writing prompts, there are only so many writing prompts in the world, I believe. And we we have 365 of them that we have available for people to
mhm,
utilize.
mhm.
And we only are encouraging people to pick a couple, one a week, so for a month, to write and then get published into their legacy writing.
In their
We
legacy book.
in
Mhm.
their legacy book. We have already covered more than that. We have
Mhm.
covered upwards of 10 of the topics per month that we are putting out there for other people to consider.
Mm-hmm.
And as we sit down each month, we're kind of looking at these topics going, ooh, what am I going to write about this? And what am I going to write about that? It seems as we're finding more tricky topics, we're getting deeper.
Exactly.
We're having to dig a little bit deeper, and it's becoming even more interesting, our writing, because it's not just the first thing that comes to our mind.
It's
We
not the
have to,
superficial.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
peeling the onion. We go down into those lower levels, and it gets a little bit more um, a
juicy,
little bit more sincere, a little bit more
strategic.
realistic. All of those
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the beauty of writing. Is sometimes we've even had writings that were similar to another writing we've done, and yet as far as title, the prompt, but when we get done, it's like, wow, where did
Yeah.
that come from? We had no idea what it would produce, and I don't think we've had a negative. Well, again, that's a value judgment, but I look at every one of our writings, and there are so many good things in every one. So, you know, I mean, for me, I'm not a trained writer. I've had the same English class as everybody else has, but I think that as you go on, you really become better at choosing the words that help you to describe and to express and to put your thoughts out there for other people to ponder,
Hmm.
reflect on, that kind of thing. And I think there's value in that.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of brings us to the last part of our conversation today, and that is how really coming from a place of gratefulness for our lives and our experiences and our writing can really bring us to a deeper level in that writing. You
Mhm.
know, when people think and talk about having writer's block, it kind of puts that person, it puts us at the center of the universe. And I am a firm believer that there are things and ideas that come through us, and we are simply the faucet. We are simply the conduit through which truth comes.
Mhm.
And when we say that we don't have anything to say, or it's not coming, it's not flowing, it's not good enough,
Mhm.
I think we're selling ourselves short,
I think so
and
too.
we're not being open and thankful to things that we may not understand.
Well, and especially to people who have not been habitual writers, that maybe this is their first attempt, and you start reading some of their writing, and it's really awe-inspiring because they're saying things that people don't know about them, or they're saying things that people don't expect from them, or they're just putting out there a point of view that maybe isn't a point of view you've heard before. And I love reading that kind of thing. It really really trips my trigger. I like it a lot.
Well, and two, I think sometimes we have this expectation that, we as writers should get it down right the first time. That, if it's not like coming out immediately the way we want it to be published, it's like, why even bother? But, like you're writing this past week, I noticed that it was interesting and you had a lot to say about being thankful. But remember, I said to you, I said it's kind of like a picture of a bouquet without, a particular place to rest your eyes. And
Mhm.
I gave you a couple of examples where I wanted you to expand on that little flower, that little thought a little bit more, so that had some more depth in those couple of spots.
It's a little more visual.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think that is part of the we
Well,
need to
teacher, how did I do?
you did great. You did great. We have to be aware that maybe gratitude and thoughtfulness isn't just a one-off, it's also a process. And
Yes.
giving ourselves grace and giving others grace, that we are living a process instead of a product, is
Mhm.
really freeing.
Well, and sometimes a lack of gratitude comes from the paradigm that that person is going through. And I think that there are even benefits in helping one another to see that, you know, nobody's world is unicorns and sparkles. We
Okay.
all have our, yeah, I love that, unicorns and sparkles. We all have our dark moments. We all have our, you know, I've used the phrase so many times I hate to say it again, but it creates a tapestry. What would a tapestry be if it was all, you know, light, pastel colors? It would be very boring. But you start putting in the deep purples and the blacks and the deep maroons, and all of a sudden your tapestry
Has
becomes
the depth.
interesting. Yeah, and it's the same with your life, you know, those things, and often those things are the lessons you learn that make you a far more interesting person. So don't leave them out, you know, put those in your writing, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And don't get stuck thinking that this is supposed to be easy, that this is supposed to be fast, this is always supposed to be fun. Writing is a process that, like gratitude, is deep and sometimes has dark nuances to it, and sometimes, incorporates struggle, and that is what makes it worthwhile.
Amen, Lisa. I think we just ran out of time at a perfect spot because I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I love talking to you. This is so much fun. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I look forward to seeing you next week
It'll be
with a
fun,
brand new topic. So,
as always. Okay. Love you, Judy.
love you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.